Yes, Lucy, Jill Scott. Thank you, Mike. Absolutely. Okay, so first of all, can anyone tell me anything about the kick? Baseline bounces, yes.
Pretty bouncy and like,
S-
yeah,
And
it's like a house rhythm that's just like off the grid.
but also we can characterize this kick, all these kicks in this style are to be super deep. They're not usually extremely punchy like you would find in other house styles, but rather extremely deep, almost like a trap or R&B kick. There is a built-in one in Ableton. I think it's in the core library, but if you go under drums, right here under drum hits, let's see. It's called Dark, Kick Dark. And that's from the core library. Okay, so everyone have this. I'm gonna build a drum rack, and later on, I'll show you how to also do it on the grid if you wanna do it that way. So I'm gonna load the drum rack. I'm gonna go to my Kick Dark. Kick Dark. Okay, right here. And this one is pretty long kick. So I'm going to just shorten it and maybe add a bit of a fade here as well. Okay, that's a bit better. And let's set our BPM. This style, it's pretty large range, but somewhere between 105 to 125. Let's say, let's go 112. Okay, nice. Now, let's start seeing some ways, some techniques of, first of all, getting a groove. So I'm gonna create a kick. Sorry, a clip. And actually, let's work in this arrangement. I think everyone's more comfortable here. I'm gonna create a clip here, and we'll do 2 bars. Command-Shift-M. Gonna click on the clip, Command-L to loop, and maybe Z to also zoom in. I'm gonna put a kick on every beat, and right now that's what we have. Okay, maybe a higher velocity. Okay, nice. Now we're going to start kind of adding some randomization to the timing of the kicks. Instead of moving them manually, which I'll show you later, because I would say that this one can, it's the most customizable, right, when you move it. But what we can do is I can automatically randomize the timing of the kicks, okay? A tiny bit, just to get a groove. So right here, I'm gonna open up my groove pool. Right here, you have this button. These are all the grooves that are loaded up in my project. Right now, I have none. I'm gonna drag this clip right here. I'm gonna drag it here. And this created a groove from these kicks. Now, essentially, it's not really doing anything because we just took this beat, this 4 on the floor kick, and made a groove out of it, okay? Now I can apply it to the same clip. I know it's kind of weird. We're making a groove out of this clip and we're applying the groove to it. The only reason we're doing this is now we have this slider here to decide how much to randomize the timing of the kick. I found that up to 30% can be nice, okay? It works. Above that, it's starting to be a bit too sloppy. Now, let's set it. Let's listen to it first. Okay, and I would not hit right here commit to the groove. Commit meaning that it's going to apply or move the notes according to the groove. Don't hit that, because if I hit it, we will see the notes moving. You see, ever slightly. You saw that? That's kind of like humanizing. But we don't want that because we want to continuously randomize. So I'm not going to hit commit, unless you want to only do it over 2 bars and keep it to be the same. Okay, nice. Now, let's go and start loading some kicks and claps, or some claps, to see that it's kind of working really nicely with this groove kind of trick. So I'm going to go and I'm going to give you some sample packs. Maybe in order to keep the entire download small, I'll give you just links on where to download these free sample packs. And let's go and load some claps. Okay, yeah, let's load these 3 and we put them here. Okay, let's go back from Shift Tab, switching back to the MIDI editor. And I'm gonna put maybe something like this. Okay, we're just making a house beat, but we have this randomizing groove right here. And let's turn them down with velocity highlight command and turn down. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's duplicate it. Okay, so again, with this self groove clip, you can get a tiny bit of randomization in the timing. Later, I'll show you again how to do it on the grid itself with off-grid stuff. Excellent. Okay, now let's talk about one technique here that I hear a lot in this style already, kind of more sound design. But let's take one of the claps. Lillian has a question. Will the self-groove trick work with using any groove, but turning timing and velocity down in the groove pool? So yes, essentially, I believe the timing is just whatever the timing is in the groove, and randomize will still random. If let's check it. Let's just turn it on. Yeah, it will still randomize. Because this groove doesn't have any timing information, like the notes are on the grid, this doesn't matter. But yeah, absolutely, you can take any groove essentially. Okay, nice. Just make sure it's on 16th.
Sorry, real quick.
Yes.
Did you pull that groove from the groove pool, or did you?
No, I just open up. Yeah, let's delete that. I just open up the groove pool right here.
Yeah.
And drag this to the groove pool. Alternatively,
Gotcha.
Alternatively, I can right-click on the clip and choose extract groove right here. And same thing. And then I chose it in the clip itself. It's kind of like a weird technique, but it works because you have this time randomization, which is great. And we might see it in other ways in Ableton, so, you know, eventually. But right now, this is the way. Okay. Nice. Now let's talk about one simple sound design technique. I'm going to take a clap here, one of the claps, put it anywhere. Let's say here. I'm going to solo that, and I'm going to load a reverb on it. Okay. Let's load a reverb, and let's make it the decay quite long. I'm going to freeze this. I'm going to flatten. Okay, so right-click freeze, right-click flatten track, and now I'm going to essentially just take this tail. Let's cut it with Command E, reverse it with R, delete this. Now I can kind of lead in into, and I'm going to fade in, into the clap here by creating kind of what we call like a pre-shifted clap. But let's make it kind of short. So just like a right before. Okay, and we'll turn it down a bit. We can make it even shorter. Okay, just kind of to add to the suction into this beat, into the fourth beat right here. Okay, they use it a lot in all styles of house, but just to mention that, then there's also samples that are already pre-shifted that you can use. Excellent. Okay, now we did, I think Mike mentioned live hats. Essential for the style. You can create your own if you want from sample packs. I did include this free sample pack, which is amazing and a lot of amazing stuff. And we are going to use some of these sounds, but it's sampled from old 70s and 80s records. We used volume 3 in our French house class. So now
I bought a hi-hat to record those.
Oh, really? You got a hi-hat? That's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, we got, of course, loops and stuff that we can use. So right here under this sample pack, which I'll give you, we have hat loops, and we can choose whatever we want. Okay, let's say this, okay? Now, couple of things that are kind of like more general for house music, and we did it last time. Let's first of all set up our sidechain. So before we even do anything with the hat. So I'm going to open up a new audio track. You can do it also in MIDI. Let's do it in MIDI. MIDI track. And I'm going to load, under drums, going to search click. And I'm going to load kick. This one. I like to use this one. Let's load it down here. You can do it in audio or MIDI. I'll show you later in audio. Here's MIDI. C3 on every beat. I'm just going to loop this. Okay. If I want to loop this quickly, I hit Command Shift. And then I bring this end marker. Just put it here, and we have it looped. Okay, a high velocity. Let's mute that because we're not going to use it as a sound. We're just going to use it as a sidechain signal. We can put it on the top. Nice. Also from the French session, but I'll just give you again in this session, we're going to use the compressor from Ableton Live 8 because it's the cleanest. Okay. When you get it, just save it. I'm going to drag it on our hat loop. Okay, right here. When you get it, don't click upgrade, just click save, and you have this another compressor from Ableton Live 8 that I use for, you see it's different than the regular compressor. Let's load the regular. That's the new one. This is the old school one. Okay, you see them? FF, feed forward, and these are different modes. this to be the cleanest, so just don't forget to save it. I'm going to sidechain it to our sidechain and drop down this threshold. Okay, maybe slow attack, fast attack, even more, and maybe a bit slower release. Nice. Now, it's already can be cool because every hat loop that is recorded live has its own groove just because it's played by a human. Okay, but you can also apply a groove to the actual hat. Okay, so if I apply a groove here, oh, please, yes.
Sorry to the question. Why do you use a click instead of just using a kick? Like
so, a good question. Very good question. So in this case, especially in this cake, the kick is huge. It's a humongous kick. That means that if I sidechain it, let's go and sidechain it to our kick, so to the drums and to the kick. It's going to duck too. You see this? You see this volume? It's gonna duck too much. I want to have control over the groove of the sidechain. And that's why I'm using a very short sidechain sound. Instead of, this is very long. I know long in terms of like very short milliseconds, but it's long compared to a click. Okay, so I'm going to use that. And then it's going to give me much more control over the sidechaining because now I can just play with the, I took down the attack, play with the release, and that will give me right more pumping or less pumping. Okay.
Nice, awesome, thanks.
Yes. Sweet. So if you making a lot of house music, I would recommend having a template that you have already the sidechain ready to go. Okay. Maybe even something like already kind of like, let me just stretch it, right? For however long you think you're going to make the music for. So consider that. That's another advantage of this is if we have during breakdowns, we might still want some of our sounds to pump. So it's possible also with what we call like a ghost trigger, right? A ghost sidechain, whatever you want to call it. But just a dedicated track for the sidechain trigger, which should be just a short click sound. So you have full control over the groove of the sidechain using the release, okay? Or you can use dedicated plugins, whatever, it's fine. But dedicated track and the Ableton Live 8 compressor. Okay, nice. Any more questions? Okay. I'm going back to the hats.
I actually do have a question.
Please, Lucy, yes.
I know you're using the hat loops, but can you show us as well, like how to make, you know, like our own like hats without the loop, like?
Yeah. So okay. Yeah, absolutely. Let me do it quickly. Although I would recommend using hat loops, absolutely, and maybe editing and maybe adding more hats on top of that. But just to emulate what we have in this loop, I'm gonna go right here and load the drum rack. And what you want to have accessible, and you will have, because I'm gonna give you this sample pack. Lucy, mute yourself. I think there's some noise. Thank you. This pack, this crate has a lot of live hats. The reason to have live hats, because as you can see, we have the same hat. Okay, right here, that we need those different hits on a hi-hat because it's the real world. There's endless variables, right? So every hit on the hi-hat will sound slightly differently. We want that. Let's maybe, maybe this. Okay, I'm gonna take these three. Now I can, and there's many ways of like randomizing this. I'll just do it manually. But now I can do something like this. Let's say copy first of all our sidechain. I'm gonna hold Option and drag it to this new drum rack. And now, of course, we also want some velocity. And probably we can get better samples or maybe even edit the starting point. Okay, and then add some reverb and so on and so forth. But again, highly recommend loops. Okay, in general, there's if you can use a loop, use a loop.
Okay.
I would highly recommend. But we will add our own hats, absolutely, on top of this.
Okay.
Back to the loop itself, I just want to mention that you can also load the groove on the loop, on the audio clip itself. So if I click right here on the groove, it's going to take me to the groove library. It's just a huge list. If you want to see it as a category, you right click and choose show in places, and then it's going to show you categories of the grooves. Now you can load even the first one, 2-step accent. Let's load this. Let's listen to the hat. Already. All right, maybe we'll take down the velocity. Okay, this is without. And okay, so grooves on audio clips, on loops, work as well. Don't ignore the loops. Nice. Now, beyond that, you can, and I'll show you like stuff that the project I'm going to share with you soon, that we added a lot more. I just want to kind of move on to make sure we get to all the basic techniques, and then I'm going to show you a full project with a lot of stuff that we can go over that you can take for your own productions and your own style. So let's add a few more percussion. I would, again, recommend using loops and editing them. So percussion, let's see if we can find just loops. Loops, perc. Maybe this, okay? And that means that editing, that I'm just going to kind of start removing stuff and just leave. Let's turn it down. Let's copy our sidechain. Where's our sidechain? Hold Option, drag this compressor. Okay, and maybe we'll fade this out and turn this down and pan it. And also re-pitch it. So highlight all the clips, Shift Tab, and pitch this up. Oop. Down. Here we go. Maybe we'll duplicate this, Command D. No, just leave that there. Okay, right now I'm just going to copy that. And let's add a few of our own hats. Instead of a drum rack, we'll just load it directly on the grid. And let's turn this down here. Okay, let's add this one. And we're going to start emphasizing more of the offbeats here. So maybe something like this. And I'm going to take this hat and just turn it down. Let's turn this down. Nice. And maybe we'll take the grid off, Command 4, and push it slightly off. Okay. Nice. Let's take an open hat. And put it on the next offbeat. Something like this. Again, my grid is off, so I'm just kind of playing around with this. Ooh, actually on this offbeat, right here. Nice. Bianca, how's it going? Can you mute yourself?
Can you hear me? Oh, yes, I will.
Thank you. Welcome. Okay, and I'm going to go and add more and more percussion. And again, I'll show you the final result because you should spend time with the drums. But this is the method, okay, of just adding more and more percussion elements. Everything should be sidechain. Let's also sidechain our open hats, although I don't think the kick is playing with it anyway. Okay, and we'll map this slightly here. Okay, nice. I'll show you more techniques in a second, more fills and stuff, but again, using the grooves are essential kind of to get more of a feel, and turning off the grid and just moving stuff manually can also get you that vibe. And most importantly, sidechain. Okay, this style is heavily sidechain. Everything is sidechain to the kick. So don't forget to just copy, set it once, and just start copying it. And some elements you might want to make it shorter release because they're disappearing with the sidechain, or even longer release if they're too much and you wanted to really get drowned with the pumping of the sidechain. Okay. Also,
doesn't he put a flanger or something on the hi-hat?
Oh, you can thank you. Yes, you can absolutely put a flanger or a phaser modulation effects to give it some more movement. If anyone wants a trick, let me put a phaser. Okay, or a flanger right here. Okay, so we get more movement. Nice. If you want a trick here in the phaser, you can take the amount down, so there's no LFO that's moving the